Testing.
Hello. But I'm strong on this surface, not all the way through.
Never been perfect, but neither have you. So if you're asking me, I want you to know. When my time comes, forget the wrong that I've done. Help me leave behind some reasons to be missed. Don't resent me, and when you're feeling empty, keep me in your memory. Leave out all the rest. Leave out all the rest. Forgetting all the hurt inside you've learned you had so well. Pretending someone else can come and save me from myself. I can't be who you are. When my time comes, forget the wrong that I've done. Help me leave behind some reasons to be missed. Don't resent me, and when you're feeling empty, keep me in your memory. Leave out all the rest. Leave out all the rest. Forgetting all the hurt inside you've learned you had so well. Pretending someone else can come and save me from myself. I can't be who you are. I can't be who you are.
Hello.
Hi, hello. Welcome
Hi.
to the Lakou.
Welcome to Lakou Dlo.
Yes.
Wow.
A little emo to start us off, guys.
Emo always.
I felt
Always
that
choose
in my
emo.
I felt that in my back.
Emo
Shout
first.
out to Marvin.
Shout out to Marvin, another one of his favorites and your
Yes.
favorites.
Yes.
Hello. Welcome to Lakou Dlo. My name is DJ Teeyuh.
And I'm Mama Mojo. Happy to be back home.
Back home. Thank you, Lord. So grateful for that.
Right. Safe and
Because
sound. Safe
the
and
way
sound.
y'all had me last time,
I'm sorry.
we don't need to
You've
talk
been
about
holding it down.
It's fine.
You know, we've been traveling the world, hiding all types of things.
Right, but we're going to talk about it today
We
we
are.
are continuing our conversation around death and grief. This is a part 2 episode. If you're not familiar with us, we are Lakou Dlo. We are community advocates,
We are.
cultural conversationalists.
Yes, this is our playground. This is our fun
Midwives.
space, midwife of consciousness. Shout out to
Period.
Femsage.
Self-proclaimed.
Right, no, that part. You know, a little midwife of here, a little midwife of there.
Listen, we are committed to talking about the things that they told you not to talk about.
In your
That
mom's
is my
house.
commitment. In your mama's house.
Specifically as Caribbean people, there's a lot of taboo things we don't get to talk about
Period.
until we're adults after the fact. So we're just making space here to
always,
do that.
always,
Yes.
always. And before we get started, let's do our thing.
Yeah.
Let's get a little grounded. Let's get these people ready in their bodies to listen to what we have to say.
Yes.
How do we do that?
Okay, so if folks are in the space and you feel called, we're going to do a little bit of a centering. You can do it in your chair. You can do it standing up. Full transparency, I feel a little tender and resistance today in the grief conversation as I am actively going through the things. But I know that this is important, so I would like for all of us to center. If you can, have your feet shoulder length apart. If you're sitting in the chair, kind of just straighten your posture to the edge of your seat. Take a deep breath from your toes, all the way up to your head. Slow exhale. Go ahead and take another deep breath. Feel like if you need to wiggle your toes to kind of wake it up a little bit, go ahead and do that. Breathing all the way into the top of your head again. If you feel called, go ahead and rub your belly. Your belly is your central points of discernment, of decision making, of all of those wonky feelings that you may feel. And just kind of notice how your body's feeling. Notice if you're feeling a little resistance to this practice. Notice if you got any tightness, if your jaws are stiff. Pay attention if this is the first intentional breath that you had for today. Just notice what is. I'm not asking you to change your thoughts, but just pay attention to the quality. Take another deep breath here. And just kind of allow your shoulders to drop. Just kind of drop your shoulders down. If your knees are tight, go ahead and unbuckle them. Loosen up a little bit. Induce a little neck roll if needed. Hit it in reverse. Hit it in reverse, Terry. All right, and when you feel called, if your eyes are closed, go ahead and look at the people in the room if you can, who decided to be here in support of self and each other. I'm going to offer at this time, I feel like I want to do a prayer, but I really want to hold space for grief in a way that I think maybe we don't talk about often, which is kind of like grief beyond the physical body of death, but kind of like grief in a reality that you may have created for yourself that isn't going as planned, or grieving, relationship, grieving who you thought you were supposed to be at a certain amount of time, or where you thought you were supposed to be at. Holding space for that. And also for our brothers and sisters, specifically navigating TPS right now, our Haitian community, I think it's super important to acknowledge some of the grief that sits there. And just holding space for them. So if folks can put their hands at the bottom of their belly and kind of just start rubbing your stomach, just kind of generating some energy and breathing into there. And just kind of breathing. Oh, now I'm getting emo. All right. Oh, child, hold on. No. I want to hold space for them because I know it's really hard right now. As they're trying to navigate all the things and feel safe. Shout out to the train coming that always be in my prayers. It be minding my business. It be minding my business. Yeah, I'm feeling emotional, so I gotta
I got you, babe.
finding words.
I got you, babe. Do you want me to do a little prayer? I got you. That's what I'm here
sorry,
for.
y'all. Real life.
No, we're here. We're navigating. So going to ask everyone to please close your eyes, making note that this is a non-denominational prayer. This is for all of you, whatever entity, whatever you believe is your light and your energy, your source. We are talking to that right now. So we're going to ask you all to close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Heavenly Father, we thank you, we thank you, we thank you. As we are navigating these crazy, crazy times, we ask that you continue to be there for us and really give us an eye and give us direction. As we continue to navigate these waters, let us focus on our community. Let us focus on each other. Instead of turning away from each other, Lord, we ask that you help us find the bond, help us find the thing that brings us together and focus on that in these times. So not let the enemy that is trying to navigate by throwing us out, by putting us in chains, by taking us back, whatever that entity is, whatever is that force that is making that direction come to us, we ask that you redirect us in this moment, Lord. We ask that you commit to helping us find our purpose within ourselves, find our creativity, find the love, find that source that helps us wake up every day and believe. Whatever it is that makes you believe, we ask that you turn to that in this moment. As we talk about the conversation of death, Lord, that's the only thing that we have been promised since birth. That is the only thing that is both Republican and democratic. That is the only thing that lives in our bodies the moment we take our first breath. And we ask that you help us navigate that conversation and with intention, Lord. Let us navigate these conversations with intention and remove the taboo factor that lies within it that helps us steer us away from what is true. And what is true, that death is not the end, Lord. Death is the beginning of transformations for those that are still here, Lord. Death is nowhere near the end, no matter what we want to believe. We want to be able to use these conversations around death to show people that it's not only the transformations, but a new beginning for us, Lord, for new creativity, for new energies, for whatever chains that was on us before. Let the conversations around death and grief and the love that lives within both conversations, Lord, break those chains so that we believe again, Lord, and believe in each other in the way that helps us deter from the negativity that definitely lives in our space right now, Lord. We ask that you continue to bless us, help us focus on the priorities, which is our community and the love that we have for each other, and help us navigate these times with each other and continuing to live in the way that we do through you, through the eyes of love, continued love. In your name we pray, amen.
Let me tell you something. Get you some friends that can pray. When you ain't got the words, and a friend can be an intercessory in the beat. Let me tell you something.
Oh my gosh,
need that, more
that
of
wasn't
that.
even me.
Listen, I appreciate you. No, it be like that though.
That
Listen,
wasn't
when you
even
can't
me. I
find
don't
the
know who that
words,
was.
And your friend or your partner got to come in and just lay a hand and speak for you. Listen, it be like that. It be like that.
Wow.
Appreciate
Let's
that.
get into it. I love you.
Hey, I love you more.
I love you.
I love you.
Death brought this
Yeah,
upon
really. No,
us.
it really did. No, it really did. Death grew
brought
me
this to
up.
life.
Death grew me up, child.
All right.
Wait, where you been?
What do you mean?
Where you been? What you been doing?
Chilling, talking about death
Right.
a lot and grief.
Yes, tell me how we got here.
I'm not quite sure, but if y'all saw the last episode or tuned into that episode, I talked with my husband.
Right, come on, Kevin husband.
Who has a husband? That's so weird.
A whole husband.
About death and grief and our experience, and that conversation came out of nowhere. It was not planned at all. Literally
Right.
5 minutes before we were getting
I
on,
was like,
he's
I
like, "What do
can't."
I do?" I'm like, "I don't know. Let's wing it."
Yes.
And that's what came out of that.
Yes.
And I felt like it was magical. What
It worked
the
out.
heck?
It worked out.
Wow, almost. It's
And-
almost like things are gonna work out.
Right. If you just kind of lean into it,
That's weird.
you know, just a little bit. Imagine if it all worked out. We
What
got
you been up to, Mama Mojo?
Mama Mojo.
Mama King?
Mama King. No, King Mother.
King
formerly
Mother.
King Mother.
King
Okay,
Mother.
shout out to them. What I've been doing? I have been, did we like,
No debrief.
have I been back since Puerto Rico, New York? Okay, I've been
I don't know,
everywhere. I've been
barely.
everywhere. I've been soul searching. I've been timeline jumping. I've been trying to figure out my life. I'm like, oh, grief. I'm trying to run. I've been like, I don't want
Yeah.
it. But landed in a soft place that we call Lakou Dlo, and I'm very
Period.
grateful. And I'm very happy. Thank you for holding it down. You and Yoli holding it down. Shout out to Yoli. Yoli, we love
We
you.
love you,
Long time, our
Yoli.
coven sister. I'm very
Tuning in.
grateful that you got the courage to talk about grief in a way that I wasn't ready to. And I think it is beautiful to witness you fully and like being willing to hold space for others. And I'm so excited for what's to come out of these beautiful conversations and collaborations coming up. So I think you're doing the Lord's work, honey. Okay. And yeah,
Right.
with that being said,
With that being said, thank you. I love you.
long time.
We have a special guest.
Very special.
I love when we have guests because it's like, yes, bring your energy in
Right.
here. Get in here. We have a special guest. Her name is Aliyah. Aliyah, funny enough, is someone who I recently met, but also is now a huge part of my life
Right,
at the
right,
same
right.
time. Yeah. Aliyah is a social worker, a death doula, a death worker, a believer, a black woman, a queer, beautiful queen
Yes, absolutely.
who is about to come on and give us some tidbits and talk about some things that we need to continue on with this conversation around death and grief and all the things in between.
Right.
So, with that being said, welcome, Aliyah.
Oh, child, I've been going for too long. We got sales.
It's been months.
This is great.
Aliyah, hi.
Hi.
What are you doing here?
Great question. I'm actually so excited to be here. This is amazing.
We are so grateful to have you,
Thank you.
because I feel like in the talk of death, you're considered a professional to me. So I'm going to be talking to both of you about, well, I'm going to be asking you some questions that I really, really want to get some insight about
Absolutely.
in regards to death. But before we get started, what is your relationship around the conversation in the realm of death and grief?
Love that question. For me, just death I view as an extension of life. And so within my work and social work, I do a lot of life involving care, and that should include death. And so for me, I just see it as an extension of that and giving space and bringing it to the forefront and letting people know this is the normal part of what we go through. So it's a normal thing for me. Yeah.
Ooh, I think death is like fertile ground. I think it's a new window, a new portal to what is. Definitely the only thing around extension of kind of just like, there's something beyond here. I don't know what it is. I ain't seen it yet, but I know it's something beyond here. When I think of death, I think of a lot of like ancestor work. I feel like I find the most peace in that, working with them and like learning more and being in studies. So I feel like death is an opportunity for study, opportunity to learn new things. So that's pretty much, yeah, it's natural. It's guaranteed to us.
So it sounds like y'all are not one of the people that think death is a taboo and scary thing to talk about. Is that feel right?
I wasn't always like this.
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest. I was not always like this. I think that, you know, when for a long time you're kind of groomed into a thing like, oh no, death is just sadness and all these different things, and then you grow up and realize, okay, it's promised to us, it's gonna happen. How do we kind of use that energy to alchemize the thing? I think as I got older, I'm like, okay, I can deal with this. But before, I definitely was on some like, don't say that. Oh my God, I don't want to go. Like, no, I was freaking out for no reason.
No,
like,
it's normal.
no reason.
Right. I mean, I feel like I have the complete opposite experience. That's so funny because I was always fascinated with death in a way that I wanted to study it, I wanted to understand it, and I love like the niche and taboo. And so when I was younger, I lost my father when I was 1. And so death immediately was here for me. And it was close and it was up, personal, real there for me. So moving from that and just seeing how that shaped my life and the people around me gave me just interest. And I want to know more. I want to learn what the culture is, what like our experiences as humans, like what do we do with grief and how do people navigate that? And so with that, not just the spiritual side, I also really wanted to go into forensics, which is one of my majors. I did a forensics science major. I got that really cool up close, like scientific view of death. And then as I got my degree in social work, I kind of meshed it with my spirituality and the way that I work with people and the way that we can view each other as humans through our grief and that loss and that change. And so with all of that being said, I really wanted to kind of mush that together and let people know that, again, this is a human experience and it's nothing to be afraid of. But I get it.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah.
Bars. Right. Like I said, a death professional. With that being said, thinking about your experience with grief at a young age, what are some of your earliest, for questions for both of you, but around your earliest experiences around grief? How do you relate to your grief now?
Do you want to go first? Okay. So again, I was so young when I first lost my dad, so I obviously didn't know what was going on. But there is a running joke in my family because my family is older. My parents had me in their mid to late 40s, and so a lot of my family has passed, and a lot of our close friends have passed. So me going through like childhood, going through more funerals than parties is the joke in my house. Every weekend I was at my grandma's and we would be at a funeral. So I think just being able to grow into that and experience that really helped me digest death a little bit better. But with all that too, I think just me wanting to know more. I'm just curious. So yeah.
I feel like I had an opposite experience.
That's what I'm like,
It's
we're
like a
all
little flip-flop
opposite
going on.
ends.
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like I didn't know death in a real way until I was older. I feel like, yes, like folks would pass away, but like I think I've experienced grief when I lost my daughter. She would have been 6 this year. Yeah, so just thinking around that, like that grief came from like inside. You know what I mean? Like there's a like a body response, a mind response to grief, like versus like witnessing or holding space for somebody else, but for it to come literally out of you and like, having to navigate that was so jarring. I was like, what are we talking about? Like what do you mean? Like and that's also around like what I thought my reality would be, like the grief in that. So it was like grief in like what I thought was supposed to happen, motherhood, all these different things, not being able to have that. So that was grief, but also grief of like the physical, like that, baby isn't there, that all those type of things. So like, I think that later on in the game, knowing grief, I feel for you being young navigating it because I couldn't imagine, but like, yeah, just kind of just like just my adult years, just kind of like experiencing that. So I wouldn't, yeah. It's gonna happen regardless, but it's just like, oh my God.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you both for sharing. I'm thinking about both of your stories having such different points of views on the experience. I'm wondering what you as people, what your family, how your culture played into your relationship with how the death happens, right? But like what happens after? Like how do you navigate? What are the rules to grieving in your family? Like what is the process?
Oh my goodness. That's a good one. I was like, rules? I like that
You
question.
gonna let
I
me
really
crash
do.
out? I don't know about y'all. I'm gonna be crashing out.
Okay, I think for me, with my family, I'm Black American, so we have a very, I want to say spiritual, religious, but also elements of hoodoo, which I don't think people realize that in their grief they do these spiritual practices. And I'm kind of like, why are we covering the mirror? Why do we have a deceased person in our living room and we're eating fried chicken like right in front of them? There's just these practices that like,
Fish fry.
hello, like you got somebody laid up right here, and I'm eating fish that's so good, by the way. I don't know what it is. Grief makes the food really good. I'm sorry, but just sitting there and having these practices, and then I think in my adulthood, I realized that with grief and death, it's all about community. And the way that we can just really have that in every culture and every aspect is about community. Sitting Shiva, my aunt who recently passed last year, she's Muslim, and going through the shroud and cleansing her body, the community that we had to build in that church and in that mosque where we just saw her in death and cleaned her up. And it's just these different things that you don't realize because you're in it sometimes, but this community, and it is spiritual. It's holy to feel and share that with people and know that you have a space to be seen. And so, yeah, I really tie the aspect to death and grief with community. So, yeah.
Heavy on the community aspect.
Yes.
I hope I make it through this episode. All right. Yeah. So as far as like grief and community, I'm definitely resonating with that. Just thinking around like our different altars that exist. A lot of the times we had some like grief tea, like activating herbs and like watching your family boil them, serve it to you, even like the baths. And we'll talk about baths later on in the episode, but just like the baths and just sitting in the house. Like crazy enough, my best friend, shout out to Cedric, I didn't know there were like different steps of grieving, or like how grief is kind of like also in celebration, where like I didn't know there was a fish fry, there's repast, there's underpass, around the pass, I don't know all the passes, and I was just like, there's like a system to this thing, but it's a natural process of how folks were navigating it. I didn't know. So like learning through that, even thinking around like there's specific times in the year, like Gede season, where we're celebrating our ancestors and doing those type of things. So that's how I associate it with community in that way. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you. This is also good because it's, again, like even in different backgrounds, it's like there's similarities in the practice. So speaking about practice, like what does your grief look like today? Like what is today you and your grieving bodies who have all that love, like what does that look like for you today?
In real life, it was me unpacking a box that was sitting in my closet that I didn't want to unpack. And it had like all this memorabilia of like all these different stuff. And like I was sitting there, I was like, I don't want to open this box. And it's crazy, just in a literal sense of like opening a box. It's looking, it's remembering. The grief is the remembrance of the thing, and not to like fester and sin it, but like as a launching point of like, well, this is how we got here now.
Right.
You know, so like just like little launch pads of a thing. That's how grief is looking. Also, just the willingness to accept the fact that I changed my mind about a lot of things. Post my grief, I was like, I don't want any more kids. I'm scared. And I'm like, oh, maybe I do want a kid. Maybe I do want to do a thing. So like the right to change your mind after you experience something is how I'm sitting with the grief. Yeah. Because I'm like, sometimes you feel like if you forget or you don't acknowledge, it's kind of like it never happens. Versus like, how can I tap into that and be like, okay, what can we do to mitigate the thing or like to move through a thing, you know? Yeah.
I actually really, the box is amazing. And I think just people don't realize when you have to do that like upfront work with grief, like how much that brings up and what that reflection does to people. And kudos to you for that, truly. Like that's amazing work. And it takes time. And I think people do need to realize that there's no right or wrong way to grieve. At all. There are 5 stages of grief in clinical terms, but I do not, like, there's no way that people think that they can cycle through that. There's a time limit for that. There's an order for that. That is not true. And if you want to grieve for a day, or if you want to grieve for the rest of your life, however you decide to digest that loss and that change is up to you. And I think people see grief and are really scared of it, right? And it can be scary, but it's what we all go through and what we all experience. And I want people to know that this is something that is human and there's no right or wrong way to be human. So with that, like, I think your story is beautiful. I'm sorry for your loss. And I know that's a horrible thing that some people in the deaf community don't want to say, but I do say that. And I say, I want to know more about your daughter. And I want to know more about people who have been lost because that's how they live through us. That's how they continue to be. And so I want to hear more about people's people and your daughter. And I think that's beautiful. Yeah. Oh my God, I love this. I love this so much.
I know, this is so beautiful. Oh my God. Shout out to Desi.
I know, we love you,
Desi.
Cigarette.
This activated another question for me because I'm like, I actually want to talk about this a little bit talking about like grief, right? And how you experience your grief and how there's no right way to grieve. And I talk about my brother all the time, Marvin, rest in peace. In the grief, I noticed something that I was feeling in the grief with him that I'm like, sometimes this feels wrong, but I'm like, I'm angry. Like, I'm mad. Like, why you did that? Right. And I'm like, with that anger, it's like, obviously, it comes coupled in with, you know, like, you shouldn't feel that, bro. Like, that nigga dead. Like, come on. but still, like, no, like, I'm angry. I feel like he took something from me. Like, you made a decision, and I can sit with, like, you made a decision for yourself, but I'm also like, but you ain't even talk to me, man, and you ain't even consult the council, bro. Like, I would, like, give me a chance, you know, give us the chance, like, the people who are experiencing you a chance, especially, obviously, I'm talking about grief in the sense of someone who took their own life, but also, like, there's people who make decisions that take their own life, not even, you know, related to suicide directly, but, like, you did this, and that led to you, your life ending. And it's like, how do you sit with that grief when you're experiencing emotions that kind of like the ugly emotions, right? Like, what are those ugly emotions? Like, how do you sit with them? Like, how do they sit in your body? Do you acknowledge them? Like, what's the response to that?
Ooh-wee. Right. And I'm like, that's it. Yeah, it's like, ooh, okay. No, I love that. I think, like we said, there are classified 5 stages of grief. There is anger in that as well. It's definitely a stage. There's depression, there's denial, there's bargaining, and then there's acceptance. Whether you cycle through that in order or whatever that is and what that looks like for you, again, that's a normal thing. It's a human experience. You might initially feel anger, and rightfully so, because that is your response. That's a valid response to have. And then one day you're like, you know, it is what it is. I accepted that. And then the next day you might do this, you might do that, like, and what that looks like. And like I said, there's no right or wrong way to grieve. And for people who have been in grief or have seen it up close, it can be a terrifying thing. It can be, because it's emotion. It's just pure human essence coming out of you. And that, to me, is also the most vulnerable thing to show. And so when I say that we're human and that we're allowed to have that messy, that whatever it is, we have to have that acceptance. And I want to be able to talk more about that, because we all do that. And what that looks like for each and every person, that's on them. But we should be able to accept and understand that grief is a thing. Right. And so, okay, for me, to say all that, right? Blah, blah, blah.
Good context.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I know for me, when I grieve, and I want to say this in a way that what you spoke earlier about not just grieving about loss or death, but also the life that you thought you were going to live, or maybe the body you thought you're going to have if you're disabled, or, you know, right now with people in their own autonomy, like the life that you're going to live in here in America, and you get snatched up and illegally and horribly so.
Right.
Let me say that right now. And change that life, that's loss. And to go through that and sit in that, for me personally, I have to reflect too. I have to internalize it a bit. And I have to be ugly with it. I have to cry, I have to yell, I have to get angry. And I have to know that all those things are okay. So I allow myself to get nasty, allow myself to get ugly, allow myself to curse, cry, do what it is, and know that that's normal and that's okay. And how long it takes. It could take a day, it could take years, but I allow myself to do that. I give myself permission.
Giving yourself permission. I love that.
Yes.
Anger. I'm just thinking of how, like, anger spins the block. You think you're healed from something. You think, yeah, right, we're cool, we did a thing. And then that anger comes back and you're like, oh, actually, there's still a little bit left. So, like, sitting with that, where it's like you put all this effort into, like, trying to heal or whatever that looks like, or acknowledge, and then it comes back and you're like, but I thought I moved on from this. And then it's that feeling of, like, damn, is this going to stay forever? Like, is this, you know, but we understand that, you know, grief is forever in real life. And just thinking around, like, anger and the ugly feeling around isolation. I think that when I am grieving, I would love to isolate. I don't want anybody to come in. I don't want to talk about the things. And I just start to kind of, like, yeah, I want to be invisible. When I'm grieving, I want to be invisible. I don't want to think about, like, I think I'm very sensitive around how my grief gets not interpreted by others, but how I know energy works, where it's like, I don't want my grief I don't want you to hold that, because it's hard for me. I don't want you to hold it that bad. You know what I mean? So, like, so I think that's that weird feeling around, like, anger, isolation. I was, like, angry with my body. I'm like, how dare you not let me be a mom? Or, like, just, like, thinking around that and having to live with your body every day post. And you actually have to, like, take care of this thing that betrayed you, essentially. There's betrayal in grief too. So it's like, how do you keep going? You have to look at this vessel every day. You have to work this thing. You have to do all the things, but also still be in relationship with others, especially when others want to build with you, want to create life with you and all these other things. And you're just, the grief is just always just lurking in the background, is something that I'm sitting with.
Yeah, really appreciate that perspective, because it's like in the ways we experience grief is such a reflection of how, like, our response is basically like, what are you going to do about it?
Right.
That says, who are you? It really shows up like, who are you really? Because what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
You're mad, you're feeling all these feelings, like, now what? You still got, bills still come. They come, it feels like they come even earlier.
They be calling extra.
Right, I'm
You're
like,
don't forget on the 5th, that car note is
and I was like,
due.
ma'am. I'm like, okay, the way that life still keeps going, and it's just feel like that part of it feels a betrayal too.
That
'cause
doesn't piss you off?
pisses me
Like, you went to the store
off.
today and my brother's dead.
Oh my God.
My baby's dead. And you went to the store,
Literally.
bitch. How dare you?
Ah,
You're telling me hi?
It's such
Like,
a
what?
betrayal of the community. How dare the economy still keep going?
Right.
How
Right.
dare the president still president? Like,
Right.
how dare any of y'all keep going? Like,
Right.
someone died.
Right.
Like,
Right.
read the room.
Yeah.
But I think about that too, and so, like, in that same breath, I really want to talk about we mentioned it a few times, like what are other ways in which like we experience grief outside of physical death of a loved one? Like what are some other things that you're experiencing that I actually had to practice the act of grief for this past self, idea, thought, future, whatever it is? What does that look like for you today?
I think also I just wanted to touch a point, and I don't want to bring it back, but I wanted to touch on this point where you said that you didn't want someone to hold that grief for you, right? And so with that, I think that hit for me because we're just pushing community, right? And I think in Western society that we're in, we don't think that others should hold that for us. We have this like isolated kind of viewpoint in our grief. And that to me is why I want people to be able to talk about their person, or talk about their grief, because we should hold each other, because we're all going through this. Yeah. We all have these losses and these experiences. And I don't want anyone to be isolated in that grief, because we all go through that. So to fast forward back, I just definitely, because that to me, yeah, I want people to know this is community, and that you should never feel alone in that, and that there are people out there who will hold that for you. And I'm sure you have your special friend and
Yo,
Yoli.
we on the other side of the rainbow now. Praise the Lord.
Yes, you know, and get that. But okay, so to go back, right, about grief and what that looks like, I really want to say, for me, I know we talked about the change in our personhood and in this setting. It's harder because I feel like you can, like we talked about the box, you can reflect, you can know what that person was. You had this concrete idea, like this person was here, right? And in the way, like you have this idea of the life that you want to live, and it was never concrete. So I think it's harder to kind of digest that, because if I can go back and I can remember my person, I know what they look like, I know what they sounded like, it's like easier for me to remember. But for this life or this idea, and when I lose it, I'm kind of like, dang. Checking pockets, like, dang. But with a person, at least I can go back and I can remember them. And I think with that loss and that grief, that's why it's so important to bring those people up, because that's how they live and that's how they continue. So, yeah.
And I think that's why ancestor work is so important in the grieving part of it. I think that it's more than just, all right, we're going to put you in a box, we're going to burn you, do the things, and move on. But I think there's something to actually, spirit evolves after here. You know what I mean? And I think that that memory work, that ancestor work, just allows the I don't want to say it to make the grief sit prettier. You know what I mean? But like, it gives you, you know what I mean? It's like a feeling. It's like they're still there. They're still there. They're still accessible. They're still telling stories. Their stories are still living. So to your point of like, I want to know more about your daughter. I want to know more. Like, I appreciate that, because I went through a phase where I was like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to do the thing. But I realized that like, the more I start naming the things and, you know, moving through that has been super helpful. That's why I think I'm going to always push, even in grief, the memory work is important. It's so important. I feel like that energy has to continue to like live on and like, yeah. So.
I love that you said memory work, because I think about what that activated in me is like, I was just saying, I was like, man, this feels so good, because like people are saying Marvin's name that never met him. Like this feels like so cool, and like, wow, I see the work, like in people just knowing his name. But what about those, our ancestors who were jumped off the boat, whose records got completely dismantled, like disappear, whose family don't have any idea where they are, and their family died off? Like, what about those people who don't have the people who are like doing this work as far as sharing their name? And I'm like, that alone feels like a whole separate grief.
Yeah.
That feels like a whole, like even just talking about it, I'm like, wow, that's so not fair. Yeah. Like, what comes up for you when you think about that?
Oy. I'm like, oy.
To me, definitely a sadness, you know, and just lots of pain. And to know that that is my family, too. To know that that is direct to me, that I don't get to know those people and that I don't get to experience those people. I can't go on Ancestry DNA and find those people. And to know that in a way that they were lost, right? But then I also think about how they lived through me, and that allows me to kind of digest that a little better, right? And that we always say we're living our ancestors' wildest dreams. We are here. And so being able to live for them and them through me, I think gives me a bit more grounding in digesting that sadness and that grief when I think about my ancestors who were lost and unnamed. And so knowing that I can be hopefully a mouthpiece and like with them and through them, you know? So, yeah.
You said all the things I would say. That's exactly where my sentiments are going.
Yeah.
Exactly where my sentiments are going. I do want to name that, even for the ancestors that are nameless, I think it's very important to still venerate them. But I'm also like very careful at the same time. You don't want to be venerating your mean uncle from like, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't doing what he had to do. So I just want to be clear about that. Like even the nameless, like, you know, you venerate them, you do all the things, but you also like, you want the ancestors of benevolent energy that had our highest intentions, who had our best interests and minds of the family and all the things. And then you pray for the ones that were nameless and didn't do good. Where it's like, you're still worthy of being venerated, but I hope that whatever lifetime you in, you're making your correction.
Oh,
You get what I'm
okay.
saying? There's still an offering, a prayer for them. So I also want, because I know duality exists. And I know that sometimes we're like, well, you know, if they're nameless, but what if they were bad? What if they were, no, they're still worthy of prayer. They're still worthy of those things, and kind of just hoping that in whatever lifetime they're in, they're making correction. They're doing what they have to do to be an ancestor that contribute in a good way. You know what I mean? So just want to say that, you know, you got to hold them to our heart as well.
Period. And that's on Clock It, Gen Z
Yeah.
words. um, yep. And that is a beautiful understanding, because I want to uplift in this moment Yoli, baby girl Yoli, who is a writer and wrote a beautiful piece on Substack called Tending to a Body, which is an homage to her beautiful, wonderful mother, Yolande, who passed away and just kind of like gave her the keys. Like, that's what we got to be doing.
She set her up for success.
She set her
baby.
up for success, baby.
She did. She
And
did.
just wanted to uplift that because Yoli writes about bath rituals to honor her mom and her mom's heavenly birthday. She wrote this piece on her mom's heavenly birthday. And just thinking about like, wow, like that's the work. That's our duty. For those listening, if you're listening, tell a friend, tell your people, go back. First of all, go ask your people about your people.
Right.
That's the step. That's step one. Let's
Talk about it.
That's step one.
Talk about
okay? That vulnerability in community, like the vulnerability will give us the links that we need. That's the study. Like, what was grandma cooking when we were sad? Like, were your people farmers? What type of herbs are they were using?
Listen.
Like, that's the first.
Listen,
smack.
you know what trips me out? White people are doing it. They're writing this shit down.
They're hardcore scribers.
Yeah.
They
no.
scribing stuff that's not even theirs. They was like, Emma, let me borrow it.
Speak on it. She's
Okay,
speaking on it.
Let me not go there.
No.
Anyways,
Please
yeah.
go there. Then I was like, please go there. Because, we need to speak on that. And I think that is essentially what we're saying, is that we need to bring that to the forefront. We need to be able to have our stories told so those people can live. And all of that written in concrete for us who pass and to continue. Like, this is for us. This is our lineage. And we should allow others in community to have that. So, I'm
I got a side quest download in real time.
Oh,
Grief sometimes allows us to attach ourselves to things, people, and religious sources and things. I think that there's just nothing wrong with that. Everybody copes differently. But before running to those things, I think, again, the first step is knowing your people and just sitting with that before we start outsourcing other things, because things can get distorted.
true.
And you're downloading things that's not really for you.
True.
It's not really the story of your people.
Yeah.
So I think it's super important to sit in that grief, be around people that know you best to do the thing.
Right.
instead of just kind of like, let's minimize the outsourcing, let's minimize the, I think we have to return to that, because I think when we start doing that, that's when the white people start scribing shit and start putting stuff on us and start saying the things and doing the thing, because we're opening ourselves up to too much of, what is it? Too much going on. Yeah, too much going on. So just wanted to name that.
Yep. All of it. Love this conscious flow. With that also being said, wanting to, I think we just named, I think we're starting on our call to actions a little bit, because it's like, talk to your people, find out who is who, what is what were they doing, as much as you can. I think you should just like set up appointments with your moms, your grandpas, especially the elders. Sit down and talk to the elders. Get what you can before they go. I know you're a death worker. Just thinking about like how that looks like as a death doula. Like what is that experience like, seeing someone like, actually, I know what's coming. Like, I actually know a date. Like, I know a time.
Right. So I think in that experience, it's varied. And I talked about that too, how we all are human and we have different reactions to death. Right now, I think, I'm not going to say obviously HIPAA, but I have a client, and he's an older gentleman and he has cancer. So he is what we're saying, like anticipatory grief, which is basically he knows that it's coming, right? There's no sudden loss, and he's older, so he's prepared for it, and he knows that it's coming. So his outlook to death is very like, okay, let's go. Let's wrap it up. I'm ready. I'm going to put my stuff in order. I'm ready to go. And he's accepting, and he's just so ready for that next chapter. Whereas I've seen people fight to the fight to not want to take that next step of life. And it's a scary journey, especially when you're younger. That too, I think a lot of people don't realize that death happens to everybody. And I know that we say that, but I think it's not digested with a younger group. And so children and teens, especially teens who think they're invincible sometimes, when someone dies in their peer group, they're kind of like, whoa. Like, this is a thing that's happening. And so I do a lot of death work with teens too, and allowing a space for them to digest grief and knowing that, like, yes, babe, death is here too. Even in this part where you feel like you're a Superman, you feel like you're on top, it's here, And so, like I said, there's just so many different reactions to death. And also the families. I think that, honestly, it's never really the client. It's always their family, and their reaction to their loved one dying, I think, is difficult to navigate because, again, there's reactions to this person, your loved one dying, and especially the ones who know that they're dying in front of you and what that looks like, and having to explain that process and things from the death rattling to, not wanting to eat and like maybe looking just skinnier and a different color. Like, there's just so many things that happen in the process of death, which people don't know about. And I think that needs to also be forefront, because, again, we're all going to die. Everybody here is going to die. Sorry. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, love that. And thinking about the different levels of how this conversation lands, and the duality mentioned before around death, because I think death and life are the most duality things ever. Because it's like, you cannot die if you didn't live. Like, one does not exist without the other.
Absolutely.
So that is such a beautiful thing to understand. If you're like, don't shy away from it. If you're open to these conversations, like, that's a beautiful concept, right? Like, it forces you to think about how you want to exist, because one of the things is promised to you anyway.
Absolutely.
That's so good. Okay, this was crazy. Let's get into some of our call to actions. Again, mentioning our dearest, sweetest Yoli wrote a beautiful piece. You'll find it on our page, Lakou Dlo, Masisi Radio. But we are so grateful because the call to action for Yoli is baths, right? The spiritual ritual of taking a spiritual bath and what that is like. Can you tell us a little bit about around spiritual baths and what that experience is specifically?
I don't know why I wanted to yell coconut water. So that was so like, that just came out really fast. No, but you can use coconut water. But so spiritual baths are super important. I think that when we're using water, we only think like baptisms and like this, but that's like we think it's like a one-time thing, but I think that our body constantly needs to be going through replenishment and renewal. So taking these baths are super important. Tapping into your herbs, even getting familiar with like what are some of your family herbs that you use? Did they grow anything in particular? That's a way that you can kind of bring in some of like the ancestor energy. But baths are super important to replenish, to refocus, to realign yourself. And then also just water holds a lot of memory. So a lot of the prayers that you speak in your baths, like you're able to, if you want to manifest something, there's certain herbs that you could put in to be able to have prayer. If you want to release, there's a way that you do that. Just kind of like thinking of the bath as womb space and just returning back to that innocence in that place. And I feel like it's not that I think that God hears you clear by the water, but it's just something around like being able to just cover yourself and submerge and allowing everything else around you to kind of just dissipate and just you just be there, you know? So I think that's super important. We should be in practice with that. If you ain't got no tub, get you a nice little bottle, you know what I'm saying? Drench yourself and do the things. If you can't get to a bathtub, go to the ocean. Water is super important, I think, in grief. Tears, crying, all the things like that. That is, somebody told me something good. They were like, we always feel like we need to do something by the altar. And they were like, your tears are an offering. That grief, that hurting feeling, those words when they can't, that is the offering. That is the acknowledgement sometimes when you don't have words to speak to grief. So I sat with that and I was like, child, I got a lot of offerings, baby. It's the ocean. No, like they really, because I'm like, I should be able to say something. I should be able to speak to this thing. You know how crazy it is when grief got your tongue?
Yeah.
And you can't say the thing, and you feel like it's not mathing, and it's just like all you have is tears, all you have is this visceral response, and like sitting with that, it is okay.
Yeah.
So to say all the things, get into some bath water, get what you need, find some water, drink the water, be in the water, swim around the water, everything with the water. Super important.
Yep.
Super important.
That's why we're called Lakou Dlo.
Exactly, for that reason.
Period.
Um,
Go ahead.
Oh, one more thing. Go with we're doing a call to action still?
Yeah.
It's TPS related, but go
Period.
ahead.
Lay it on it.
Listen, I don't have all the answers, but we're not being loud enough. We're not being loud enough. Things are happening. We're not hooting and hollering how we should be. We ain't outside with whistles for real, trying to let people know people are coming, all the things. And I feel some type of way about it. And I feel like Miami people, we need to wake up. These niggas are around the corner, literally. And I just think that we need to hold space for our brothers and sisters. I don't know if that looks like we need to be delivering meals. I don't know how folks are navigating going back to school. Like in any little way that we can, we have to try something. We have to do something. Because we can't just allow this shit to happen and be like, oh, it just happened. So I just wanted to name that. Yeah, just sitting with that. Even like the perspective around like their worlds are being ripped from them. You know what I'm saying? They're grieving when they thought they were coming here to be safe, X, Y, and Z, just to be jolted and taken away. That's fucking grief. That's grief in knowing that you may not be safe. That's grief in knowing that, you know, you made all these sacrifices to get here to then, you know what I mean? So I just wanted to hold space for that. I couldn't have words earlier, but that was my sentiment earlier that I wanted to uplift. And also, like, I want it to be very known, yes, we're supposed to be organizing, yes, we're supposed to be outside, but spirit is also important, and let's not forget that. So, yeah.
There's no revolution without spirit.
You know, let's put that on my bait.
There's no revolution without spirit, period. Thank you. And definitely want to, again, uplift. I think part of the work is joining an organization.
Yes.
Miami Worker Center, Power You, throwing down. Join an organization because these are the third spaces are the communities that they're trying to break down. Bajis, Famsage, all the things that are supporting and doing the work, like who are doing the work day to day. Like we wake up to do that work. So
we're
like,
doing it every
join
day.
a group, join an organization, be a part of the cause to protect our people. And also continue to have these conversations, which is why Aliyah and I are hosting our very first Death Cafe. We're going to let Aliyah talk about it a little bit more, but how can we continue this conversation?
Absolutely. So shout out to the Death Cafe, August 23rd. 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. come through. All the information is on Good Grief Women, which is our little initiative that we did. it's a space where we're just really platforming grief and death and making it a normal part of our life. So with Death Cafe, it is this initiative where community, strangers, everyone gathers to be able to just have candid conversations about death and what that looks like. There's no agenda, there is no main facilitation, it's not a bereavement group, it's not for just, woe is me kind of space, but there is also just this idea that you can speak to anything regarding death, and what that looks like. And I think definitely with community, what we're going through right now, that needs to be a conversation. And I'm hoping that we have that in our Death Cafe too, because we need to shake the table. I agree, 100%, especially in our community, and about these things, because that ties with grief, like you said. And so these conversations need to be candid, they need to be upfront, they need to be in our everyday life. And a Death Cafe is a space where we can do that and we can talk about that. And I'm so glad that Teeyuh, you have helped me and didn't think it was weird. And it was like, yeah, I love this so much. Because I feel like anytime I approach that, people are like, girl, no. But I'm so glad that people are open to that and people are willing. And so many people signed up, which I'm like, my heart. I love this so much. We were sold out twice. My God. Okay. No, I'm really appreciative of everyone and to bring that space here in our community, because we have to have these conversations. And whether they be hard, they're needed. And especially in our home communities, marginalized Black and brown folk, we need to talk about what death and death work and grief is for us. And how to be prepared for it. Because, again, I know we're not going to take too much time, but this is a capitalist society, and I want to make sure that in death you have autonomy and that you're honored, and in grief, too. And so those are conversations that I want to have and continue to have and bring to the forefront of our community. So, yeah.
Yep, period. Amazing. So that's our call to action. I want to uplift baby girl Irie.
Irie Donto Sinclair.
Period. Papa.
Daddy. Charles.
Papa Charles in this place. Uplifting Mommy Yolande. Uplifting my annoying brother Marvin. And uplifting whoever you're thinking about while we had this conversation. We're uplifting them. We love them.
Yes.
And check us out, Lakou Dlo, Good Grief Women, Masisi Radio.
Of course.
Period.
This song, before we're rolling out, shout out to my Uncle Paul, who was a drag queen, a.k.a. Fendi, okay? Want to just lock that down. Shout out to Marcelia, my grandmother. Mr. Black, not Mr. Black, Mr. James Joy. James Joy is so in my mind.
Akil Williams.
Yes.
Period.
Also, my nephew that passed away, top of the year, Danny. Love you, young man. So I really appreciate you naming that grief is in the different ages and all the things. Danny, DJ, everyone that I didn't name that I know that love me and that you're present and I stand on your shoulders. I give thanks. I'm so grateful.
Period.
And I hope that we continue to have this beautiful conversation.
Thank you for joining us,
Thank you.
Aliyah.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Gosh, we love you.
Bonjour.
This is
Bonsoir.
Spread My Wings
L'acte
account.
de Masisi Radio.
I got you.
We on here.
Oh
Spread My Wings
my
with True.
gosh. I got you. Spread my wings. No, spring too.
This is our transition into a celebratory time.
I've imagined faces and many letters to ease the pain of having no one in my life. And I'm tired of being under. It's time to navigate my feelings tonight. The sky is gone.
created, infatuated, the image, spark of love, but seems dreams related, make believe, fantasy, a memory, haunted me, I'm locked in reverie, totally lost in the shadows of the darkness, weak, I'm worn, I'm torn, I'm left heartless, an empty, vacant soul, more like a hellhole, I tried to hold you tight,